I worked for LegalZoom for 12 years. I started off on the phones, taking customer calls and customer care. I was one of five customer care agents at the time. We needed to handle everything there. I moved out of taking phone calls. I managed a small team there in estate planning, and from there I moved up the rankings to being a manager of a larger team in business services. It was a team of 50, and I co-managed with another manager. Listening to phone calls, supporting performance coaching and how they can improve the agents of the phone calls. Also disciplinary as well. So if agents were not doing what they need to do, it was my role to be hold them accountable through coaching, but also counseling and termination if needed. I also supported the onboarding process in terms of hiring. I hired on new agents and I also trained them. I was managing training program for customer care and sales. And at that time, that was the first time where we're taking training to a more enterprise level. So, meaning that we're supporting all of operations. So, anyone that would interact with the customer, whether it was phone calls or emails, my team was responsible for managing the training experience and the program for that, for new hires, but also for continuous education. Over my time of managing training programs, there are probably close to 600 or 700 people. The great things about LegalZoom is they're very innovative. For agents, if you're not used to change, being able to manage levels of stress, you never know when you're going into work if your duties will change. So our first thing is really supporting them in terms of reducing stress by giving them the knowledge and tools that they need post-training to support them. Some of the effects of the training, number one, is the agents feeling better about their role, being effective to be able to do their role to support the customers. For the customer, it's getting a quality experience, being able to get the information they need from the agents. From a company connecting with each other perspective, agents' eyes and the leadership that we supported in terms of their agents, showing that the company cares about the employee. The company, when there's changes, the company will be there for them to provide them with the resources to be successful. Well, work group problems certainly will come up with when changes happen, when there's so many teams looking that's supporting the customer at different points of the experience. There were communication breakdowns. Created one thing, stress, number one. It also created a level of being disconnected from each other. So from there, there were some perceived relationship challenges, meaning because they're people doing the same thing, there's a stepping on each other's toes, and there's a little push and pull for this is my responsibility. No, this is my responsibility. So really, as a training organization, us coming in to really show the full picture of the customer experience and really talking about and supporting the different leaders of the different groups of this is where your role is, this is where your role is. It looks like there's some overlap here. How can we come together to kind of break it apart? So really being that group to support the different leaders to kind of sync up better when it comes to the customer experience. Each team have their own goals. So by there being an overlap and not clear on roles, there's an effect of productivity. There's certain parts of the business that was not getting fully met because the resources are thin and they're not always necessarily focused in the right area. So what my team supported and is really coming together with these different groups to really talk about, okay, what are exactly the goals, the objectives that your group is looking to make, and where are the areas where you're not feeling supported that you can get more support. So really supporting them as that group where they can come together and really talk through, okay, if we're all focused here, how can we break apart and cover these other areas so that we can have higher productivity and meet our numbers more effectively? Because with scarce resources, this is our way that we can really spread them around to really hit all the points needed for everyone to meet their goals. Because if not, everyone's not really meeting their goals because they're so spread out and they're not hitting all their points, it increases stress. So by being more effective in how you see the full picture and plugging in where there's pieces that really need support, it reduces the stress, it makes people feel more effective, and then we're not duplicating efforts.